Are you happy? Kahneman's answer is annoying in the best way. Which self are you asking? This episode covers the final chapters of Part 5, Life as a Story, Experienced Well-Being, and Thinking About Life. Kahneman examines happiness, memory, attention, income, goals, and the focusing illusion. Chapter 36 develops the idea of life as a story. The remembering self wants coherence, meaning, high points, endings, and narrative shape. It cares about achievements, failures, turning points, and whether the story feels satisfying. The experiencing self lives moment by moment, but the remembering self keeps the record that we consult. This creates hard questions. A life can contain many good moments, but be remembered through disappointment. Another life can involve difficulty, but be remembered as meaningful because the story fits values. We do not simply want pleasant moments. We also want a story we can endorse. Kahneman does not reduce life to either self. He shows the tension. If we care only about the experiencing self, we may neglect meaning, memory, and identity. If we care only about the remembering self, we may sacrifice too many actual moments to a story. Chapter 37 turns to experienced well-being. Kahneman discusses methods for measuring the quality of experience, including how people spend time and how they feel during activities. This approach differs from asking people to evaluate their lives globally. Experienced well-being depends heavily on attention. What you attend to shapes how you feel. Time with people you like, health, daily stress, commuting, work pressure, pain, and mood all matter. Some aspects of life affect moment-to-moment experience more than they affect overall life evaluation, and vice versa. Income has a complicated relationship with well-being. More money can improve life evaluation and reduce certain hardships, especially when it relieves poverty and insecurity. But beyond a point, it may have less effect on daily emotional experience than people expect. The exact numbers are less important here than the distinction. Evaluating life and experiencing life are not the same measurement. Chapter 38 examines thinking about life. The focusing illusion is central. Nothing in life is as important as you think it is when you're thinking about it. When attention is focused on one factor, such as climate, income, status, health, or location, that factor seems larger than it is in the full flow of daily life. The focusing illusion explains many mistaken expectations. People imagine that moving to a sunnier place will transform happiness because they're thinking about weather. But once they live there, attention returns to work, relationships, chores, health, traffic, and ordinary concerns. The highlighted factor fades into the background. This does not mean circumstances do not matter. They do. But attention exaggerates the factor currently in focus. System 1 answers the question, how important is this thing? By substituting, how much am I thinking about it right now? Kahneman's happiness chapters are careful because happiness is not a single object. There's experienced happiness, remembered happiness, life satisfaction, meaning, mood, attention, and story. People use one word for many things, then become confused when the parts disagree. The practical lesson is to ask more precise questions. Did I enjoy the moments? Do I value the story? Was the ending coloring the whole memory? Am I focusing on one factor and exaggerating its importance? Does this goal improve daily experience, life evaluation, or both? Kahneman's happiness chapters are valuable because they resist the temptation to compress life into one score. People ask, are you happy? As if happiness were a single object stored somewhere behind the ribs. Kahneman shows that the answer depends on measurement. Are we asking about mood yesterday, satisfaction with life overall, meaning, stress, remembered pleasure, or moment-to-moment experience? The experiencing self answers one kind of question, How does life feel as it is lived? This includes ordinary time, commuting, eating, working, talking, resting, waiting, worrying, laughing, caring for children, scrolling a phone, sitting in traffic, being in pain, being with friends. These moments are life, not merely the spaces between achievements. The remembering self answers another kind of question. What story does my life make? It cares about goals, accomplishments, endings, comparisons, and identity. A person may live many pleasant moments and still evaluate life harshly if the story feels disappointing. Another person may endure difficulty and evaluate life positively because the story feels meaningful. This distinction matters for ambition. Many goals are pursued for the remembering self. A degree, promotion, business, marathon, book, or public achievement may involve many unpleasant moments but create a valued story. That is not necessarily a mistake. Human beings rightly care about meaning. But Kahneman's framework asks us not to pretend the experiencing self is irrelevant. If the story consumes too many years of daily misery, the bargain should at least be conscious. Experienced well-being also depends on attention. This is simple and profound. What you attend to becomes your life while you attend to it. A person can have many objective blessings and spend attention mostly on threat, comparison, resentment, or unfinished tasks. Another person can have modest circumstances but spend attention on relationships, absorption, gratitude, or purposeful activity. This does not mean circumstances are imaginary. It means attention is the channel through which circumstances are lived. The focusing illusion is one of the most reusable ideas in the final part of the book. When you're thinking about one factor, that factor expands. Weather, money, body image, job title, location, relationship status, school ranking, house size, follower count, or one annoying flaw can seem decisive while attention is fixed on it. But daily life distributes attention across many things. The focus factor may shrink once it becomes background. This is why people mispredict the happiness effects of many changes. They imagine the change while focusing on the change. If I lived there, if I earned that, if I had that title, if I fixed this one problem, then life would feel different. Maybe it would. But after adaptation, attention moves on. The ordinary machinery of life returns. Emails still arrive. Bodies still need sleep. People still have moods. Traffic remains philosophically committed to being traffic. Income illustrates the distinction between life evaluation and emotional experience. Money matters greatly when it relieves hardship, insecurity, and lack of control. It can improve choices, safety, health, and dignity. But beyond certain thresholds, more money may affect life evaluation more than daily emotional experience. People may say their life is better while their moment-to-moment mood changes less than expected. Kahneman's point is not that money does not matter. It is that different measures reveal different truths. If a factor improves life satisfaction, but not daily mood, that is still important. If a factor improves daily experience, but not status or story, that is also important. Better thinking about happiness requires asking which form of well-being is at stake. For personal reflection, the final chapters invite a more careful audit. What activities actually improve experienced well-being? What goals improve the story but damage daily life? What factors dominate attention when you think about happiness? And are they as important in lived time as they seem in focused imagination? Which self is making the decision? These chapters also soften the book. After hundreds of pages of bias, error, and bad prediction, Kahneman ends with the complexity of human life. We are not just effective calculators. We are experiencing beings and remembering storytellers. Try to make choices under limited attention. Thank you for listening. In the final episode, we bring the whole book together. The two systems, the biases, the decision tools, the two selves, and what Kahneman thinks we can realistically improve. Final close. Happiness is not one number hidden inside you. It is a set of experiences, memories, stories, and attentional habits that do not always point in the same direction.